Hi everybody. Have a good August. I did. Great August. Did no coaching whatsoever. Was tempting though. Very proud of me. I turned down, well not turned down, but pushed back some requests to September. So for example, the very nice car executive who I bought my new car from beginning of August, as people do for some reason, they tend to start opening up and talking about things without knowing what I do. And so I said, okay, well, I'm on leave this month, but here's my card. And if you want to speak further, if you want to explore how and if I can help you, give me a ring or contact me in September. So that was cool. I got a request on Facebook to see if I can help and support a very well-known company who is setting up group coaching for people who are looking to lose weight or fitness or nutrition. Don't know the exact details, but I think I know who they are. But again, I said, like, really sorry, I am unavailable August, but come back to me in September. And they said, yeah, we'll do that. And the usual stuff, people through email, through phone calls asking if I can help and support them. I didn't leave everyone completely home and dry without any help and support. Where I could, I'd point them in other directions, either really good coaches I know, or I'd maybe refer them to some online help or bits and pieces that might help, including I sent a link to my book, actually, one of the books that I'd written. And as a result of that, without me realizing this, when I came back and looked at the figures on September 1st, we did all the businessy stuff, the usual, for the emails and such, they'd actually signed up for the bite-sized nudges. So that was cool. So that's going out this week as well, the bite-sized nudges #1, which you guys had got. And somebody else as well through work had contacted me because they wanted to be a coach. So I was speaking to them in August, and as a result of that, I discovered that they've also signed up for the bite-sized nudges. So that's cool. So our community is growing, very slowly, but it's growing. And I like it that way, nice and small. Because if it gets too big and too large, it becomes too cumbersome, doesn't it? And you lose that personal touch. That's what I think, anyway. So that was my August. How was yours? Did you have a good one? Cool. I also did some, I took the opportunity to kind of do some work on me, as in reading and various coaching programs and courses, just to kind of keep my hand in and see if there's anything else there that I think you guys could do some help with. Did some reading, as I said. One of the books that I did read, or are reading, Ant Middleton's The Fear Bubble. Picked it up in Asda about 3 weeks ago now, I think. A couple of quid. What I would say is, yes, the Fear Bubble. If I had read that book a year ago in August, I would have went, wow, that's brilliant. I'm going to use that because it's a technique, it's a method. And it's a good method, it's a good technique. And I get why Ant had written the book with regards to the fear bubble, because of the nature. And again, if you remember Ant from things such as The Bounty and SAS Are You Tough Enough, he's got that military background, and my background as well. I can relate to it. The number of times where I wish I'd had that fear bubble before I knew what I know now. So as I said, if I had read that in August, that would have been brilliant. I'd have used that and shared that kind of thing. But because it's a technique, because it's a method, I need to remember it. Also, I know that the fear bubble doesn't actually exist. It's not, how can I put it? I guess it's a label for something else. It's a label for what is actually happening. So you believe the bubble is there, the fear bubble is there, and if you believe that and that works, that's good. But what's actually there is what is true. And that is, as always, it's the universe having your back. That's all it is. So whilst I agree and see where it's coming from, I wouldn't necessarily have it as part of my coaching practice to say, oh, and I've got this technique and method. Because again, I have no techniques, no methods, no systems. It's so simple, it's so easy. Because everything we have, everything you need to survive and to thrive, is already there inside you. We all have it. If someone really wanted to use that technique, just like someone really wanted an NLP technique, that's fine. I can do that. And so if you think that'll help, the fear bubble, go and buy it. Go read it. Let me know what you think. A couple of other books as well. Oh, The Red Paperclip. Must read. You must read The Red Paperclip. Canadian guy. Again, very quickly. He picked up a red paperclip off his desk, and he had no money, and he thought, right, I want to buy a house, or I want to, not buy a house, I want a house. How do I do this? And he had no plan. He just went from one trade to another trade to another trade across Canada and North America. So he traded the paperclip for a doorknob for a fish pen for a stove, camping stove, a camping stove for a generator for a party pack with a Budweiser neon sign, then traded it up to a snowmobile, traded up that to something else which I can't remember, and then yes, eventually he did, I think it was in 14 trades over about a year, I think, not long. He then traded up to a house. It was pretty cool. Now lots of things happen in between, so I haven't given everything away, it's not a spoiler alert, but it's worth it. I guess that the lesson from that, it's not a coaching lesson necessarily, but it's just, just believe in your dreams, keep going. And people will help you along the way. There are people out there who will help you along the way, no matter what you're trying to do. So this week, I wanted to talk about regret. And this comes on the back of a book that was recommended to me, and I've read a little bit about it. It's online. I've read mine online. It's a book called Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. Now, Bronnie Ware is, or was, depending on whether she's retired or not, I don't know, she was a palliative care nurse. What that means is palliative care is for people who have been told that they have 6 months to live, or 2 months to live, or a week to live. So her role was to ensure that the patients are as comfortable as possible, in whatever guise that took. What was interesting was that during this time, with their permission, she asked them, could you share your biggest regrets from your life? And she copied it, and again, with the permission of the families, then she condensed all that into a best-selling book, and that is The Regrets of the Dying. And the top 5, again, you may recognize these yourself. And what I'll do at the end is I'll kind of cover off, well, you don't have to fall into this group. You don't have to regret things when you go. And it's because, again, it's an innocent misunderstanding of how this all works. So the first one was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. How true is that? Do you recognize that one? Maybe you've been forced into, or felt that you've been forced into, a particular way of living or a particular action that you feel isn't true, or think that's not true to yourself. I know for me, yes, for many, many years, I did feel that someone had put me on a train track and was expecting me to do whatever it was they wanted me to do. And it wasn't until 2 years ago I thought, no, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live my life. I'm going to do what I want to do. So it's still a work in progress, but this whole life that I have now is part of that, is the step along the way. Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. That was not a tough one for me. I am lazy by nature, so now I do work hard when I've got something to do, so I don't hang around. When I work hard, it's time hard rather than lots of things to do very quickly. So for example, um, doing these videos, for example. I tend to do them quite tight to the deadline because that focuses me. So I work hard, and because I do that, the dark side of that ability of what I do is that everything else zones out. I forget the washing up. Yeah, that's happened. Jill's come home and said, "Why is the washing up being done?" Oh, yeah, sorry about that. It's because I've been so focused, and so from that for me is the work hard. But the other work hard is not giving yourself time to do other things. And that's where this is coming from, where the regrets of the dying is that they didn't give themselves time, gaps and spaces to enjoy the life that they were living. Okay? Do you recognize that one? Maybe you have in the past. Maybe you are now where, again, without realizing it, you're suddenly having to juggle lots of different balls, either at life and at work, especially now as we're starting to come out of COVID-19 and businesses are starting to pick up, or there's new opportunities arriving and you have to go out into the world again, into the streets. So, again, I'll cover that in a second. Number 3, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Now, this was a tough one for me up until very recently. It's not because I'm male, it's not because I'm British, or anything else like that. It's simply because something that happened to me when I was a boy, little boy. And I kind of learnt to shut myself off as a safety mechanism to protect myself. And because of that, that safety mechanism had a lock on it. And it's taken a lot of years to pick that lock and to get it open and just to fling the doors open. And again, what really, really worked for me was this understanding. This time last year, suddenly everything clicked into place. Right, so I don't need this safety mechanism anymore. And so as a result, things have got much better, much happier, certainly between me and Jill and the kids and everyone else. It's like a weight being lifted off my shoulder where I can and I feel comfortable and able to express my feelings and what I am feeling without any recrimination, without any doubt or what's going to happen if. No. And my wish for you is that you are able to do the same thing as you understand and start building your understanding of what it is I'm sharing. Number 4 is I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. So for me, again, you might recognize that as well. Now, what that means is it's not through Facebook and hi and likes and thumbs up. It's true staying in touch with friends, picking up the phone, FaceTime, Skype, whatever it might be, and actually having a conversation. And yes, when the opportunity arises, face-to-face conversations down the coffee shop. Now for me, many of my closest friends are spread across the globe. So I had a chat with someone yesterday, one of my oldest friends from one of my schools. They live on a they live on a boat. It's pretty cool, by the Thames, and we stay in touch through Facebook and through WhatsApp just every now and again. Now here's the cool thing about that though, is it's not that I have a very small circle of good friends and close friends, because many of them, unfortunately, because of our past, because of what we did, many of them are no longer with us. But for those that are here, we don't necessarily say, right, okay, this month or every month or every week or every other week we're going to get in touch. For us, it simply means that we know where each other is. We know we're at the end of the phone if we really need them. We know they're at the end of a video call if they need it. So yeah, again, do you recognize that one? Do you actually stay in touch with your friends? Really stay in touch. Not on Facebook, not on thumbs up, hearts, likes, but actually speaking to them. Find out what they're doing, find out what they're up to, find out if they're okay. And number 5, I wish that I had let myself be happier. Again, it's kind of linked, isn't it, to number 3 with the feelings. Well, yeah, give yourself permission to be happy. It doesn't matter what the situation is, because happiness is just a feeling. It's a thought. It can come and go. You can switch it on, you can switch it off. And happiness, again, is subjective. You could have nothing in the world and still be happy. You could have everything in the world and be really sad, because there's that misunderstanding of what happiness actually is. And happiness is what's inside you, being comfortable with what you have and who you are. And once you have that, it doesn't matter what happens, you will always be happy. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to have a perfect life. Things will go wrong, but you'll know what to do and how to respond to that accordingly. So in all of those, it really is a case, certainly with the principles that I share, and what I talk to clients about is, well, it's your world. You decide what goes in it. You decide what you leave behind. You decide what you ignore. And just allowing yourself, and this seems to be a really big obstacle block for a lot of people, is allowing yourself the permission, giving yourself permission to succeed, giving yourself permission to be happy, giving yourself permission to stay in touch with friends and take the time to do that, giving yourself the permission to know that it's okay. That minimizes, and in a lot of cases eradicates, regrets, because you've got nothing to regret then, have you? You have made a deal with yourself, in effect, haven't you? You've come to terms with, right, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, I'll come to that in a second, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is what I want to happen in my life. Well, if you get those 3, and you do that naturally, then you won't have any regrets. Not real regrets. Now, I might have a bucket list regret, like, I wish I'd gone to the Grand Canyon. Well, again, with the principles, you can do that. You can decide, you know what, I'm going. And you'll find a way, because the universe will have your back. The universe will help you get there. I'm very often saying, and you may recall this as well from previous videos, is you could be walking in the desert, in the Sahara Desert, and when you're ready to receive the right information, the right person will turn up and will talk to you. So it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you do. If you really want to go somewhere and really want to do something, the universe will help you make it happen. So that brings me back onto what I was talking about wants. Pardon me. Very often, one of the things that clients say is, can you help me get what I want? Okay, well, what is it you want then? And of course, if I know them well, they'll say, or they tell me whatever they want. And in many cases, I'll look at them and go, no, you don't want that. And they look at me and go, what do you mean? Who are you to tell me? I said, no, let me explain. What you're wanting to do, I know you will achieve anyway. So why waste that want? Why waste all that energy trying to get to somewhere that I know you will get to anyway? I said, I play a different game. I play the game of helping you discover the want that you don't realize you need. So it's the want beyond the want. The one that is beyond what you think is the one you need. So again, when you're thinking about that at any time, what do I want? Well, don't settle for what first comes to your mind, because that's easy. Whatever that is, you'll do that. I've had clients say, I want a £20,000 job. I said, well, what have you got to do then to apply for one? You'll get one, you know? Yes, there might be skills along the way we can help with, but you'll get there. And then there's clients who say, I want to impact a whole industry. with my invention or with my company. Okay, what have you done about it? Because that is a want that a lot of clients who I've spoken to, they're not quite there yet. So it's not one that I can say, well, you do that anyway. So they can, I suppose the way that I look at it is, and again, this is from something I took from my coach, Rich Litvin. One of my coaches, Rich Litvin, is a goal is somewhere to start from, not to get to. So if your goal is to impact an industry, a whole industry with your company, that's your starting point, not your end. So your starting point is, okay, that's what I want to do. What do I need to do to get there? And what happens next? Does that make sense? Yeah? A goal is somewhere to start from, not for getting to. So I'll close this then with a quick story. And I can't remember if I've told this one before. The caged bird, but it does fit in with the whole idea of regret. Caged bird. There was a caged bird, and he would very often look out of his cage, and he'd look out in the window and see the other birds flying around, and he could imagine the wind ruffling their feathers as they dived and swooped and played and dived down for worms and gobbled them down into their beaks, and off they went flying all day long. And very often one of these birds would come in and swoop down and they'd sit on the windowsill and they'd look in at the caged bird and feel nothing but sympathy for a bird who is caged. That's not the way to live. And one day the owner of the bird went out to work and left the door of the cage open. And the bird couldn't believe his luck. There he is on the perch. There's the cage door open. And as a bonus, the window's open too. Just enough for him to get through. So he could feel the wind coming in, and he could hear the birds swooping, singing, diving. And he could feel the wind, and he could feel his feathers starting to react to the wind. And he could just imagine himself again, sitting on the branches, free in the trees, and ready to fly wherever he wanted to fly. And he was still imagining it in the evening when his owner came back and closed the cage door. So something to think about, and something that to allow you to reflect on, and that's to help you not fall into that same trap, is that more people die with regrets than from regrets. I'll say that one again. More people die with regrets than from regrets. Cool. Underneath this video, there are some new programs that I'm putting together. Again, if you're interested, just read the blurb, read the info, and if you're interested, there's contact details there as well to let me know, and I'll be in touch. Likewise, as ever, if you do want a bit of one-to-one support, something tailored to you, tailored to your needs, just reach out, and we'll have a chat as always, and see how I can help you, and see if we can work together and achieve your goals and your dreams. Okay. Have a good week. Thanks for reading. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I will see you again next week with another great video. Bye bye for now.